So at this time, I would like to introduce to you our prestigious panel of out-of-school time panelists that are joining our webinar today. And so I am going to allow each of them to introduce themselves and their role and what state they're from. And so I would like to start with, as I'm seeing them on the screen, Jamie, I'm going to go to you first and allow you to please come off of mute and introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Jamie Kiter, and I'm from Ottawa, Kansas. I am currently in a new position for going on 3 months now with Kansas Enrichment Network. Prior to that, I was a director at Ottawa, Kansas Afterschool program for the elementaries for 12 years. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. That's wonderful. And we're so fortunate to have you today and grateful to have you and your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Next, I would like to introduce you all to Tony. And Tony, if you would like to come off of mute and introduce yourself, your role, program, and what state you are from.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Youngerberg from Waterville, Kansas in the Valley Heights School District, northeastern Kansas. I've been the 21st Century Director since 2010, roughly. Sometimes I lose track of how long I've been doing this. We're a very rural community, so we don't have the museums and the things to offer a lot of kids. So as a rural district, it's always a challenge to bring things to kids that they want to have.
Great. Thank you, Tony. We're very fortunate to have you joining us as well. And next, I would like to introduce to you our third and final panelist today, and that is Jennifer Adams.
Hi, I am Jennifer. I work for the 21st Century program in Erlanger, Kentucky at our Net Elementary School, but I work underneath the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, I've been a director for 12 years, so I've been able to go to a lot of national conferences. And towards the last grant that I worked on, the 21st Century grant that I worked on for the after-school program, I was looking for ways of spending down the money, and I was able to purchase new curriculum. And the walk-in classroom has always been something I've been interested in, and so I made that happen. It was 2 years ago that this program has purchased the walk-in classroom. And so how we've implemented it in our program is we have units that we do weekly, and we would always fill in one of the days, at least one of the days, with the walk-in classroom that correlated with the unit. Some examples were, I believe we did like an ocean unit, a space unit. We created a president's unit because of the podcasts that were in there. And as well as we did a famous scientist unit in there when we started talking about our STEM family night that is usually in the spring. We also use it when there's those Plan Bs, because, I mean, everybody can raise their hands when they say, how many Plan Bs do you have to have during the school year in an after-school program? Our partner would cancel or need to cancel for our field trip, or the bus would break down and they wouldn't be able to take us. So we would have the teacher come in and grab the walk-in classroom kits and pick a podcast and a lesson and go for it. We've used it inside and outside. We have when I was at the program, it was 2 levels. So they could go up and down the stairs and around, or just in the gym and throughout the whole building. But also outside, it was, the building sat on a large block, so they could get around it twice, 2 to 3 times, listening to the podcast a couple times, and then come into the classroom and do the activity sheet afterwards. One other thing that was exciting that we were going to do this year, but then I left, so I'm hoping they're still going to do it, is incorporate it into a family engagement event where we would have a few of the podcasts that maybe we wouldn't listen to during the year, so they're not getting that same podcast twice throughout the year, and then have them do that with their child, and then listen to it with their child, and then do the activity sheet together, just to kind of show them what it's about, what we actually do, and how great that this program is and can be in all levels. You have enrichment, academics, and exercise, and just the kids can then kind of have some ownership on it too, to show the families that they really like it and stuff. Our teachers love it. The group leaders, the 4th and 5th grade teachers said, "Oh my goodness, I could do this every day." So I haven't been there yet for a site visit, so I'm anxious to see if she has done it a lot more than usual.
Thank you, Jamie. That is so exciting to hear. I love that you're talking about the family engagement piece with it as well. And so thank you so much for sharing not only how you were introduced or acquainted to the walking classroom, but also how you've implemented that into your out of school time program and with your families and with the literacy physical activity as well. So thank you.
I'll go back to the beginning. Like many of us did, Zoom was introduced to us during COVID, and everybody was in front of a screen for classes, for after school times, for meetings. And so I was really looking for something that would get them away from the screen, but also would be able to implement safely into our programs. So as everybody's sitting in their basements or their attics and they're at their desk and they're working that way, I was fortunate enough to come across an email and clicked on the walking classroom email and started to look. And then I dug a little deeper, and then I dug a little deeper, and then I started making some calls. And I thought, wow, this is perfect, because you can do everything you need to do for safety during that time. You can have social distancing. We can have our units. We can have each of the kits can go to a single kid because they're numbered. Everything about it was so good. We could get out and get air, and we could be where we needed to be. For us, we implemented a lot more into our summer than our after school, just because we like the more time. Because we have 20-minute blocks in our after school time, but we have 50-minute blocks in our summer. So we can build a whole week-long kit around one or two podcasts, because so many of them kind of piggyback off the other. And so whether you're talking about the Revolutionary War or the Civil War or civil rights, or every 5th and 6th grade kid wants to do something with baseball or basketball, and especially during the summer. And so KC at bat and things like that, it's just so easy to implement, and it just drives their enthusiasm. So with that, and we also implement in our elementary program, we have our high school, junior high school social studies and history teacher. So when he saw this, he was just, over the moon, because he's like, oh, this is my jam. This is history. It's movement, because he's also a coach. He's like, everything about this is awesome. And so he's always fighting me to steal the kits for the school day. And I have to slap his hand a little bit on that, because, but I think it's introduced him to a tool that he can go to his administration and say, hey, I want this because I could use this. But so really the ability to use it in so many situations, it checked every box that we had as I was looking for curriculum and programming, and it made it to where, and the student guides, the teacher guides, it's laid out. So, because everybody knows that teaches, you don't have hours to plan for your after school program as a staff member, as a teacher. And I don't have any preconceived notions that they've got all this time in the world. So I want to give them something, because I want to have the best and the happiest staff I have, because then I have the happiest students in the world. So when I can say, hey, take a look at this, the teacher guide, when you can put in a PDF form and say, pull this up when you're home, take a look at it, see what you like, or what are you working on, see what you like from there. So, and I will say that I also used my family as guinea pigs, because when I first looked into this, we ended up driving that summer to Oregon for a track meet. And I said, I just happen to have this on my phone. Let's pull a few of these podcasts. and we'd listen to them on the way. And so it really worked out great. And even my at the time 16-year-old daughter was not just growling because we weren't listening to, Eminem or 50 Cent or something like that. Although that might not be she has to listen to that because I do. But we really, like I said, it checked every box that we needed for our program. And like I said, when we don't have the access as a city to a museum, to different things like that, we can bring the museum to us. We can bring the history to us without having to get a bus and figure out who's gonna go where. So that worked out really nice for us.
Thank you, Tony. I love that you're able to bring the museum and the history to you. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much. And yes, make sure and tell that high school coach that there are definitely more available. We can hook him up. I love all of that you shared. And thank you for sharing too about the summer programming. That's another great opportunity and way of sharing this.
So I took over this site at the beginning of this year. And when I took over, we had an abundant amount of money to spend. And I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, you can look on Amazon as much as you want, and you're not going to find the amount, you're not going to be able to find the amount of stuff that would have filled the amount of money that I needed to spend. So our fastest way to buy a curriculum. And we actually bought 3. So this one actually came to us from our state representative. She was like, I think this would be phenomenal for your program. And I looked at it and was like, it's going to be easy. Let's do it. It's going to be easy to hand off and run with. I didn't realize what I was getting. And I say that in the best way, because not only do I have a love for this curriculum, for these podcasts, but my kids come in begging daily to do this. They adore it. They love it. They want nothing more than to be able to walk with these podcasts and then discuss it with us. It has built their confidence. Their teachers are seeing it in the classroom over all of this knowledge that all of a sudden they didn't have and now they do. So it is really become such a staple in my program for so many of my children.
Thank you, Jennifer. That gives me goosebumps just to hear that. We love to hear that, how the kids get excited and are asking to learn, to be active and to learn. And so thank you so much. Having money to spend is a good problem. Being able to purchase the walking classrooms is a wonderful problem to have. And so we're so glad that we were able to help you out with that. And we're so glad that you're able to be a part with us today and to share those experiences.
I haven't been able to witness all of that quite yet, to be fair. But I do know that the kids love to be a part of it. They got the message. They and I cannot stress again enough how much the group leaders just loved it too. And so whenever I go on the site visit, because that's part of my job, I'll be able to ask that question and see how. And so maybe I can check back with you and share with you what I get from that, if that's okay. I just don't want to say something that I'm not 100% sure of visually seeing, not visually seeing it, I guess I should say.
Absolutely. Fair enough. And I think in your first question, the first question we talked about, you shared about your students going up and down the stairs. So I think it's definitely providing additional physical activity, it sounds like, for your students as well. So that is great to hear.
I will share, I'm sorry, I will share that we have used it in our tutor groups also. And some of our students there may have some behavior issues. And so they know that if they can calm down within that amount of time that we get them, this is kind of a reward that they get to do this. And I do know, and I know there's no evidence based on this, but for those kids who are struggling to focus, it had provided that additional focus piece that we could get them back on track, and it alleviated escalades, if you will,
That's wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I would definitely say that the big benefit is, whether it's summer or after school time, let's face it, we don't live in a moderate climate where it's always 70 degrees and sunny. I'm still working on getting there, but I can't get there yet. So as we work with these kids, it's either freezing cold or 110 degrees with 95% humidity in Kansas. And so when you can't get outside, and we're in a small district, you've got limited space. So the hallway becomes the track, kind of like Jamie said. They're able to walk. We don't have stairs. We just have a single story. But you know what? Just getting movement and having kids getting movement and be moving around. We always try to implement, especially inside, the single earpiece, because we don't want to hear somebody, we want them to be able to hear kids coming out of a classroom or something like that. But we really like to be able to get them moving when they can't get in the gym because there's another group in the gym. We can't go outside because it's 10 degrees outside, or let's face it, sometimes when it's 110 and you have a class scheduled for 2:00 on a July 14th, you want to be able to do something safely that also it's not going to get the grumbling, oh, it's so hot outside. And that's just from the staff. That's not from the kids. But I think doing that, it's the health part. It's movement. Any movement is healthy movement for me. And then like I said, my history teacher is the proof in the pudding. There are things that kids maybe aren't learning as much. And so if you're able to get some history that they can't get in the 5th grade class, because let's face it, teachers are having to pack stuff in. If you can do something that can supplement their educational time during the school day, if you can do that in after school and in an engaging, fun manner, then you're not going to have a kid that says, well, no, I don't know what the Holocaust is. Because there's kids out there that, as juniors in high school, answer that question that way. And so hopefully we can give them that little bit of knowledge too, and it will spark an interest also. So it'll spark that interest in history and the history around them and everything that's going on. So the learning aspect, I think, is huge. And the health aspect is movement is fantastic. All movement's good movement.
And that, I think, in itself is the best thing that is for these children. Being able to walk outside, walk in a classroom, walk in the hallways, walk up and down stairs. It gets them that physical activity that they so desperately need while still engaging and learning with them. My best tip for everybody is to just open it, try it, see for yourself. I can tell you all day long that it works for my program and it's phenomenal, but until you open it, until you see it for yourself, you're just not going to know what it really holds for you. I did it. I thought it was just going to be something that was easy to pass on to somebody else for a club that was like, okay, go. And I didn't realize what I was getting until I opened it and I used it and I realized what a phenomenal curriculum this really is.
I love it. Just open it. That just needs to be captured. Just perfect. I love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer. That's perfect.
So they're excited about those things. That's self-promoting. And, everybody that thinks they have storage problems, it's so easy to store. I'm going to share my screen real quick and just show you how little space it takes up. Can you guys see that okay? And literally, it's not much bigger than a couple of shoe boxes. And there are 24. We bought 2 12-packs. It's 24 right there with everything you need. So it's so simple to store and easy to store. So if you have storage problems and you think, well, I can't do that, oh, you absolutely can, because it doesn't take up much space and it takes up a lot less room than a Lego.
Yeah, we kind of stored it in a credenza in the office, and it's under lock and key because I was kind of a control freak about that. But they're all numbered, and then each student from each class has an assigned number. So on that a number they have in their either desk or in a storage roll card that we would have it in the share rooms. They would have their name, their number that they're assigned in that bag with the earpiece, with the earphones in it. That way it's always them. And then if they ever, then they'll always have everything right there that they need to walk down from the classrooms to come down and get them and be ready to go. I also feel like, sometimes curriculum can be we've talked about it can be very overwhelming for teacher or group leaders or whatever you call them at your program. I did it at a staff training, and they realized how easy on them it was going to be. And so that sold them right there. We keep saying easy, but that's kind of what they need. Because I too, Tony, have paras that work during the day, or that people that are college students, or just other people that have other jobs that come in. And so they need something that is effective with their class and is just an all around good curriculum. So yeah.
Great. I love that. I love the organization, and I love the thoughtfulness to those that are using it during the day, your educators that are maybe not using this all the time. And so just that additional support, but the fact that it is just turnkey and easy to use. So thank you all so much for your time. We appreciate you. Great tips and tricks and enthusiasm. So your students are very fortunate to be have you all and to be in your programs. And we're fortunate to have you with us today. So thank you all so much.